The light that each one of you is bearing on high is growing ever brighter. March 26, 2014. We are cheering you on enthusiastically from here in the spiritual realms, which is, of course, right next to you, beside you, closer than you can possibly imagine, as the moment for your awakening approaches. Getting closer to your moment of awakening is similar to constantly having the distance between two items. By choosing that specific action, you ensure that you can never actually close the gap and bring the items into contact with each other. The gap between them just gets smaller and smaller, but they will never actually touch. With your imminent awakening, it is as though there was some kind of opposing force or energy field that is preventing it, and it appears to be intensifying as you get closer to awakening, and so more and more effort is required on your part the closer you get. And that opposing force is anything within you that is not in alignment with love. It is your inability to totally surrender to love, your lack of trust, built up over the eons of human experience in the illusion, due to many lifetimes in which betrayal and disappointment have dogged you, seemingly constantly, that is impeding your progress. In this lifetime you have determined and intended to open to the divine field of love in which you have your eternal existence. However, your karmic residue, buried deep within your bodies, is very fearful of trusting anyone utterly and completely, and it is that resistance that you are overcoming as you move ever closer to awakening. You will overcome it, because it is your will to do so, and in this, your will is in total alignment with the divine will. To dissipate this lack of trust, this fear, it is absolutely essential that you do not neglect your daily periods of prayer, contemplation, or meditation. When you settle yourselves down to quieten your unruly minds, ignore the musts, the shoulds, the to-do lists, and bring your attention constantly back to whatever you use as a focal point, the flame of a candle, a flower, a blank wall, your breath, etc., without judgment of any kind for your apparent failure to remain focused. Judgment is just a further distraction, whereas to forgive yourselves for allowing yourselves to be distracted is an effective form of surrender to the quiet and stillness of this moment, and this one, for there is only one, and it's now. The light that each one of you is bearing on high is growing ever brighter as you release more and more of the aspects of yourselves that are not in alignment with love. It is becoming so bright that it is increasingly difficult for you to remain in a state of sleep. And it is your individual share of that one light, that is all that exists, that will overcome the lack of trust that has been preventing you from fully surrendering yourselves into the loving arms of your Heavenly Father. Every moment spent in the peace of that deep inner space within you strengthens and intensifies your intention to awaken. It once was possible for you to backslide, to choose to retreat from the moment of your awakening, but that choice is no longer available to you because you finally made the irreversible decision to awaken, and that alone is reason to rejoice. You know this truth, the fact that you have made this irreversible decision, deep within yourselves where there is only love and where anything not in alignment with love cannot enter. Your salvation occurred the moment you decided to experience separation from your divine source, because such a separation is utterly impossible, and therefore the experience of it is and always has been totally illusory, and your salvation was therefore instantaneous. In fact, in that ancient moment, nothing changed, you just pretended that it had, and the result has been the illusory experience of separation, not real separation. Because what is one cannot change its nature and become separated from or divided against itself. And in truth, salvation is totally unnecessary because you were never lost or separated from your source in the first place. As you are well aware, humanity is being bombarded with messages of love from many in the spiritual realms whose one aim and purpose is to assist you to wake up. They are being channeled through many who chose to be the conduits through which these divine messages could flow in a form that is understandable by beings of severely limited consciousness, and life in the illusion is one in which consciousness is severely limited. This is constantly and clearly demonstrated by the insane conflicts in which so many of you engage. And the collective intent of humanity has finally decided that conflict will end to be replaced by harmonious cooperation for the benefit of all without exception. The present state in which you are experiencing life as humans, with a few haves and billions of have-nots, will not continue because it is not in alignment with love, which is your true and eternal nature. It was part of the illusory game that you have been playing, but more than enough hardship and suffering has been delivered and experienced, and its time is well and truly past. That state is to be terminated by your awakening, which can no longer be delayed. Unprecedented joy is about to envelop you all, you know this, and so your fears and anxieties are evaporating as the moment for which you have been waiting so patiently rushes into view. With so very much love, as always, Saul. Channeled by John Smallman. johnsmallman.wordpress.com